Okay, in part 3, I'm going to help you to complete the income and expense statement. If you feel that you can handle this by yourself, I'd much rather you try it first without going through step by step with me. So if you feel that you can handle it, I'll say let's try it first, then come back to this if needed. So first of all, we're going to meet Evan. He's paid once per month. He puts enough money into his checking account to cover his expenses for the month. He runs out of money each month before all of his expenses are paid. So that's a problem. So this would be a great time to do an income and expense statement when you're trying to track what have I been doing with my money. How does Evan think he is spending his money? Evan created a list of all of his expenses. You can find these expenses on the first page of your Evan sheet. First, allocates money to his savings account, just a good thing. He estimates that his expenses will be no more than $1,000 per month. That's an estimation, but he runs out of money before the end of each month. So we ask him, are you sure there isn't anything else you spend your money on, Evan? And as you can see, he says that he does purchase a drip coffee almost every morning, but it's only $1. So he hasn't been allotting for this $1 a day, which is $30 a month, which is $365 a year. So that's right much money that he's not accounting for. He's also eats out at lunch once a week, $8, which is $32 a month, and $416 a year. So Evan wasn't accounting for $62 per month. Where am I getting that from? The $30 a month for that $1 a day coffee and the $32 a month for lunch. What we're going to do now is help Evan create his income and expense statement. On your directions in the very first page, it tells you what is gross income and all of these amounts. So you can find those again there, or you can freeze this, either way. Do keep in mind that this is a March statement, so we will need to indicate that on the income and expense statement. Evan's expenses he tracks with a smartphone on his app, and you see them all listed here, but we also have them on the paper. So I'm going to go out of this screen and go to our Evan's income and expense statement instructions. So as you can see, it says to use the template provided. You have two choices. You can either use the template that's on paper that I provided for you, or you can use the electronic version. I am going to set up the electronic version so that you can see how to do it that way. However, feel free, if you prefer to write down, you can do that as well. However, keep in mind that you need to be learning from this as you will do another activity by yourself. So it is important not to just copy down the answers. Okay, so the first thing that it asks you to do is categorize each expense. That means they want to know, out of all these expenses that he tracked on his smartphone, where would you put them? So pause right now and then go look and see where you think you would put them. Then come back for the right categories. Okay, so here we have on 3.1 an automatic transfer to savings. That should go in the savings and investing section. Okay, now where am I getting this from? If you will look at your sheet in front of you, even if you're going to do an electronic copy, that's a quick way to look. But if you'll look, you'll see a place called expenses, and there's a saving and investing, which is what we call pay yourself first. all of the rest of the expenses are continue to be listed. So what they're asking you in the categorize each expense is what section are we recording our items in. Okay, so next, $400 check for rent payment. Okay, the $400 for check for rent payment would go under housing. Which is our house payment or our rent payment, they're the same. Health insurance would go under insurance, under the health insurance part, of course. With your $20 in cash to purchase daily coffee, that would go under food cost, which is snacks away from home. Lunch would go under meals at restaurant. And hopefully by now you're getting the picture. I'm going to kind of fast forward because as I am doing the expense statement, I should have all these done. However, it would be smart for you to stop what you're doing, see if you can put these in the right category after seeing these examples. Okay, step 2 tells us to add them into our income and expense statements for Evan. So we need to place Evan here, and our time period is March 2014. Why? Because our directions told us to record them in March. Okay, the first thing, and where am I getting my information from again? I'm getting it from here. Remember, I have my gross income here. And remember, you just learned from your PowerPoint that what you are supposed to record on the expense statements is the actual earned income as a net pay, or excuse me, a gross pay. The gross pay is what you are supposed to actually record. So his gross is $1,600. Therefore, his total income would be $1,600. Notice that when you clicked here, the formula has already been written to add all of these cells up. But since this is all of his income, that is where this is coming from. Okay? The next part is our federal income tax. Again, coming from here, we're taking out all of these things. Okay, we're going to go to our federal income tax, and we're going to place in $200. And then if you continue reading in your box, we have Social Security at $99.20. Then we have Medicare at $23.20. Okay, and looking at our expenses, our very first expense goes to our savings. That's one good thing that he does do. So that would go, of course, in our savings section in our contributions to savings and investing. So here we would put $255.52. Okay. Our next one, again, I'm not going to keep flipping back and forth because that will mess up our timing, but our next one is $400 check for rent payment. So we're going to find rent, and then we're going to go and record the $400 for rent under house payment. Okay. Continuing on with health insurance. Health insurance is $100. $20 in cash to purchase daily coffee. Okay, that would be under your food cost. So we got to find our food cost. There we go. And that would go under your snacks away from home. Okay. Our next one is lunch. Now, under our lunch items, lunch should go under meals at a restaurant. Notice that we had several of those. We had 1, 2, 3 meals at restaurants, it looks like. And so all of those amounts added up to be $22. So we would put that in the meals at restaurants section. Okay, the next one is entertainment. Looking at the entertainment, we had a hockey game, movie theater tickets, basketball game with admission, bowling with friends, and concert tickets. All of those add up to go into our entertainment category. Which is down here under movies and books, and that is $92.50. The next is our food and grocery. We had groceries valued at $52, and then another one at $38 in the grocery section. So we have to go back to the food section. And add in the food amount of $90. Next is our cell phone. That should go under our communication category. I have to find it, that will be helpful. And that's under cell phone, and that's $70. Okay. Then we have auto insurance. Auto insurance is going to be $40 in the insurance category. And it would go under automobile insurance at $40. Then we've got rent insurance at $10, and you can see it's rent insurance at $10. Then we've got clothing and personal care. We have one of those items, and that's a haircut. The haircut is valued at $15, and that would go here under personal care. Then we have fuel or gas, which goes under transportation for fuel, and there's 2 of those. No, excuse me, there's 3 of those, which they're all at $40, and they add up to be $120. So under transportation costs, we would do fuel and gasoline at $120. Okay, our last 2 is our electricity and our water payment, both at $50, and they both will add up under the utilities, electricity and water at $100. Now that we're done inputting in, notice that the formulas are already done for you, and if you'll look down at the bottom, your total expenses are $1,657. Remember that we made $1,600, so our expenses are at a net loss of $57.42.